Mr. President.
Senator from Maryland.
Mr. President, today, the Senate will vote for the fourth time on a procedure to take up the House and Security Funding Bill. We're going to be voting on the cloture to motion to proceed because it is a parliamentary way of dealing with the funding for the Homeland Security Department, which runs out on Friday. Mr. President, you are the ranking member on the Homeland Subcommittee. You did a fantastic job working with Senator Landrieu, creating a funding framework that had bipartisan and bicameral support. I really congratulate you and the way the committee worked. Now, we should be voting on the final passage for a clean Homeland Security bill. Now, the bill, when we say clean, this is Washington speak. People don't know what a clean bill is. I mean, is there a dirty bill? Is there a dusty bill? Is there a muddy bill? No. What we're talking about is meaning no riders on the bill. And in this case, no poison pill riders. There was no disagreement finally because of the excellent bipartisan work on the funding of the bill. But the Senate is locked in a game of parliamentary ping pong on moving this legislation forward, where the losers are the American people. Look at what's going on in our country right now. We are absolutely relying on Homeland Security from some of the biggest challenges, not facing in the abstract, but facing us right now. There's the terrorists, and there's cold weather, and there's other issues. Right now in my Chesapeake Bay, there's a Coast Guard cutter called Chuck. It's out there breaking the Maryland icy conditions, frigid and windy. And what is it that they're doing? This enables commerce to get up and down the bay so that people are working and getting important supplies. They even worked, because the bay is in both Maryland and Virginia, they went out to the famous Tangier Island to free residents that were iced in to take food and fuel. The Coast Guard is on the job. They're working in the cold. They're working in the wind. They're breaking up ice in not only Maryland, but all over to these frozen ports. And what do we say? Good job, guys. There they are on TV, and we love you, but we might not pay you. What is this? They're out there saving lives, and we're playing parliamentary ping pong. Then there's this whole issue of this despicable, barbaric group called ISIL that essentially says, we're out to get you, and not only are we out to get you, but then they threatened the fact that there could be attacks on the malls, the shopping malls here in the United States. We need then additional security from Homeland Security, and we also need to be able to work with our local and state partners. What is Congress's response? Well, we're going to talk about increasing that defense budget in 2016, but we're not going to fund the appropriations from 2015 on appropriations. What is wrong with that picture? I'm for a strong national defense and having a muscular way of dealing with the threat of ISIL and any other terrorist group. But they're talking about our malls. They also go on their web, and I hate to even say this in public, they say attack anybody that's in uniform. Well, that's my firefighter. That's my police officer. That's my EMT person. I mean, really? We're worried about lone wolves? Well, I'm worried too. We need to be able to protect them, and one way to do it is we need to fund the Homeland Security Department so that people who are on the job protecting us can get paid. Now, there are members on the other side of the aisle that continually ask the president What's he doing to defend America? Let's put boots on the ground. Let's put more missiles in the air. Let's put more flight airplanes. Well, you know, right here in America, we have boots on the ground. They're called Border Patrol agents, customs officers, TSA personnel, intelligence analysts. We've got to fund our own Homeland Security boots on the ground. And I want to make sure we do it now and we don't have some big crisis at midnight on Friday. Now, where we are is this. We've agreed on the funding on both sides of the aisle and both sides of the dome. The House has added 5 riders on immigration. Immigration is an important topic. I don't minimize it and I don't dismiss it. It should be debated, but not on this bill. The other is that the courts have now made a decision, the Texas court, on the Obama action on executive order and immigration. It's now going to go through the courts. The Texas judge made a decision. That's America. It'll go to the Fifth Circuit for an appeal and maybe even higher. And while it's working its way through, we're debating it. Well, let the courts decide whether the president exceeded his executive authority. Whatever the courts decide, I think we will be able to accept it. We can't hold up the bill waiting for the courts to decide. And we shouldn't hold up the Homeland Security bill waiting for the courts to decide. So with the court decision pending, I say to my friends on the other side of the aisle, who I know are patriotic, I know who want to protect the homeland, put immigration aside on the executive order and all these others, let the court decide on the executive authority, but between now and say Wednesday, let's pass this Homeland Security bill. We can pass it, send it to the House, and we can get on with protecting America rather than what we think about President Obama. You know, I respect what other people think about President Obama. I don't always respect what some people say in their attack on him. Is he American? Is he patriotic? I think that's despicable to attack our president. But if you think this is a constitutional question on executive authority, it's now in the courts. That can be a valid consideration. But right now, we've got a Homeland Security funding problem. I want to fund the Coast Guard. I want to fund Border Patrol. I want to fund Customs. I want to fund the TSA at the airports. I want to protect us on threats related to cybersecurity. This is the 22 sub-agencies made up of Homeland Security. So I would hope for the 162,000 people that work for that agency, they don't get IOUs. Given what they're doing in this cold weather and on this incredible intensity and escalation of chatter and threats to the United States, we've got to help them be them. We've got to give them respect. We've got to pay their salaries, and we've got to give them the right technology to be able to do their jobs to protect us. Mr. President, I say here to you and to all of my colleagues on the floor, let's stop playing parliamentary ping pong with the Homeland Security bill. The politics are over. The issue is going to be resolved in the courts. But what cannot be resolved is the fact that on February 27th, the money to fund the salaries for every single man and woman who works at Homeland Security will run out. The time is running out. The money's running out. We can't run out on Homeland Security. We've got to help them make us a safe country, protect our country, and to do our job. Mr. President, I yield the floor.